after a year of the biggest electoral shock in U.S. history, the GOP last night loses an off-year election in a blue state. President Trump weighed in early with a tweet from China with this assessment. Ed Gillespie worked hard, but did not embrace me or what I stand for. Don't forget, Republicans won 4 out of 4 House seats, and with the economy doing record numbers, we will continue to win, even bigger than before, he says. So who's right? Are GOP voters sick of the sclerotic pace on Capitol Hill? Definitely. Are independents turned off by President Trump? In Virginia, the answer appears to be yes. But a year after his astounding win, the president is as frustrated as anybody, no doubt, with the sluggish Congress. So will his outside forces, perhaps like Steve Bannon, sweep out the establishment candidates and bring in more Trumpish candidates? And can those candidates win? Earlier this evening, I spoke exclusively to Marc, White House Director of Legislative Affairs, and asked him if voters are running out of patience with the GOP leadership and perhaps the Trump presidency.
I don't think voters ran out of patience. In fact, Martha, if you look at the actual federal races since Donald Trump won the open seats, Republicans are 5 for 5 in those open congressional seats, which included last night, granted, a Republican district in Utah, but that gives us 240 House members to help deliver on our agenda. The reality is Virginia's been a state that has continued to trend to the left. And Ed Gillespie is one of the smartest political people I know, but it's a tough environment to run in Virginia right now. And if you look at what happened last year, I think what Americans embraced was the fact that they wanted an outsider who would come to this town and disrupt Washington, which is what President Trump has been doing to shake up this town and to get it responding back to the American people. And for all of Ed's great qualities, it's hard to say he's an outsider the way that Donald Trump is.
But, you know, last time he ran in 2014, he won Loudoun County by 456 votes. Last night, he lost it by 23,000 votes. So that has a lot of people scratching their head about whether or not, as I said, there's some frustration with what's going on, both on Capitol Hill with Republicans, maybe more so, maybe it's more about that, and perhaps with the president. I mean, you heard all of the prognosticators. They believe this is a changing tide as of last night.
I think it's too early to look at what a changing tide is. I think, in fact, what you're seeing again is that 5 out of 5 times voters have chosen to re-elect Republicans to open seats in Congress. They want us to deliver on the promises we made. There's no doubt there was a lot of frustration this summer when Republicans failed to deliver on their promise to repeal Obamacare when given the opportunity. Now we have a chance to deliver on the promises of delivering tax relief to the American people. It's important to make sure this economy continues to turn around and actually propel faster to provide growth, to provide more jobs, and provide more financial security to American middle-income families.
Let me ask you this, Marc. We have a full screen that shows 12 GOP legislators who have decided not to run again. You know, in most of these cases, if they were sure they were going to win again, it's unlikely that they would be making this choice. What does that tell you?
No, I don't agree with that, Martha. I think if you look at many of those districts where members are choosing to retire, they're in very safe Republican districts. There are many cases they're choosing to retire for their own reasons. And I think as well, I think that Washington has become a frustrating place for many members. We are anxious to accomplish more, and the president's going to stay focused on delivering the promises he made to the American people.
All right, let's talk about that. Let's talk about tax reform and how you think it's going. I know you were part of a meeting where the president phoned in and you all met with a couple of you and Gary Cohn, I believe, met at the Library of Congress with some Senate Democrats. What was their reaction to this tax reform bill that is getting a lot of mixed reviews, shall we say, at this point?
Well, Martha, I think that what Democrats have said is they want to ensure that the tax reform package is focused on middle-income families. And for many of these Democrats that in states that Trump won in 2016 in the upper Midwest, these are states that have seen manufacturing jobs flee America, in large part because our corporate tax system is so outdated. So they're looking for the same things we are. The question is whether politics will stand in the way, because what we're delivering on is what the president promised and what they say is needed in our country. Again, the question remains, will they cross the divide and say this is better for our country, or will this remain a partisan dilemma?
So will they?
Look, we are hopeful they will come over. We are having meetings with them to try to say, we want your support. We want you to help improve the bill. We want this to be bipartisan. But if they ultimately choose not to, we believe we can get this done with Republican votes.
You know, there are some takes on this. One is from the Wall Street Journal's Richard Rubin that makes it look like 10 years out. This is a bill that leaves a lot of people, half of them, fewer than half of U.S. households, still getting any tax cut by that point. And a third would see their tax liability changed by less than $1,100. Do you agree with those numbers?
No, absolutely don't agree. In fact, even the Joint Taxation Committee, which is certainly not a Republican-leaning organization, it's a bipartisan group, has said that every income bracket will receive tax relief. What some people are doing is cherry-picking data because their taxes come down significantly in the first few years, and then in off years, as some of the tax credits that we're getting rid of and making the tax code simpler, those phase out. And so people see perhaps in an aberration in a year. But overall, in the 10-year window, everybody's income tax bracket, those taxes go down. So we're delivering on what we promised. Americans are going to get tax relief they deserve. In fact, if an average family today makes $59,000 in income in America, what estimates have said is they'll see $4,000 in wage increase and up to $1,200 specifically in tax relief. So we're delivering the tax relief on the targeted income levels we said we would do.
All right. When does the White House believe that this is going to happen? We've watched, Labor Day, we watched Thanksgiving, the end of the year. When is it going to be? And do you think it'll pass?
Well, what we're looking for is that tomorrow, hopefully, Ways and Means Committee passes out of committee. It comes to the House floor before Thanksgiving, turns to the Senate. We hope to provide it before Christmas on the president's desk for a bill to sign.
All right. So before Christmas, by the end of the year. Marc Short, thank you very much. Great to see you tonight. Thanks for being with us.
Martha.